Before importing survey data, you will need a drawing template. On the Home tab, select New and select Drawing Template from the drop-down list. Select your template and click Open. There are two key parts to a template. On the Prospector tab, select Groups and Expand. This gives a list of the point groups that will be used for categorizing your survey data. Each point group describes how the particular piece of data should be treated by AutoCAD Civil 3D. For example, if we look at the point group Trees and look at the properties, we can see that the point style is tree and that the label that will be displayed is level only. On the raw description matching, we see that down here, anything beginning with TE or TR will be classified as a tree. Selecting the Include tab, we can see that the raw description here can be altered to whatever we prefer. Returning again to the information screen and the point style and label styles, we will now go to the Settings tab and see how this tree is actually displayed. Going to the Settings tab and selecting Points and Expanding and selecting Point Styles and Expanding, we go down along to Trees and right click and click Edit. Where it says the marker, you can see that the marker that will be used to display a tree is thus. A new point group can be added by selecting Point Groups and right-clicking and selecting New. You give it a new name and then assign all the attributes as appropriate. The second key element to the drawing template can be found on the Survey tab. Going down to the figure prefix database and selecting the UK-Ireland example and expanding, we see that it contains a whole series of figure prefixes. Clicking this and clicking Edit, we can see that when AutoCAD encounters each one of these codes, it will cause them to join points together. For example, when it encounters W for a wall, it will join all W codes together on a continuous line. Likewise, when it encounters the code K for curb. You can add a new code to the database by simply clicking New and assigning the appropriate attributes. When you're satisfied with your drawing template, you can save it by going to the tab at the top and select Save As, and making sure to select Drawing Template DWT. On the Survey tab, select Survey Databases. Right-click and select New Local Survey Database. Enter a name, for example IRL, and click OK. When the survey base has been created, click it and right-click and select Edit Survey Database Settings. Where it says Coordinate Zone, click. Where it says No Datum, No Projection, click and select Era. Where it says Available Coordinate Systems, select Irish Transverse Mercator 1995 and click OK. Click OK. Now your database has been created. This can be used over and over again for importing data. On the Survey tab, select the database already created and select Networks. Right-click and select New. Call the new network Net2 and click OK. You now have created your survey database and a network for use for importing your survey data. Here is a text file called Site Layout 1 that contains our raw survey data. It's in the form point number, eastern coordinate, northern coordinate, reduced level and code or description. That's PENZD format. On the ribbon at the top, select Import Survey Data. Selecting the IRL database, click Next. Making sure that you've specified a file format PENZD, select the file. Site Layout 1 and click Open. Click Next. Selecting Network 2, select Next and ensuring that the first boxes checked, that is process line work during import, and all other boxes are left unchecked. Click Finish. The data is now being imported. On the Survey tab, select Survey Points and right-click and select Points, Insert into Drawing. That will insert all of the survey points into the drawing in their basic raw state. That is, they will contain a cross and the level beside them. On the same Survey tab, go up above to Figures and Expand, and we can see here that we have several figures for the drawing. Clicking on each figure in turn, it's highlighted on the drawing. Selecting Figures and right-click and select Insert into Drawing. That inserts all of our figures into the drawing. Finally, go up to the Prospector tab and select Point Groups and Expand, and on the general heading Point Groups, right-click and select Update. That puts all of our points into their appropriate point groups. The points are now displayed on the screen and shown as they should appear according to the point group styles. Trees are shown thus. Station marker is shown thus. Here we have a stop sign. Here we have a manhole with the level beside it. Here we have a gully with the level shown beside it. Here we have a lamppost. Looking again at our text file, we can see that for building number 50, 4 points were used to describe the building. Here are the points on the drawing: 1, 2, 3 and 4. In order to get the building to close, we had to add a special code called CLS, and that forced the building to close. There are several special codes used by AutoCAD to force the drawing to perform certain operations. Here is another one, H-1.5. That will draw a footpath or a line parallel to the existing building line to the left of the survey line. The survey line goes in a clockwise direction because that's the way the points were recorded. So therefore, this will create a footpath outside the existing building 1.5 meters. There are several other special codes that we can use, and you should consult AutoCAD to see how they're done. The code V is used to create a vertical offset, and if we record V2 followed by H-1.5 followed by V2, we shall now see the effect that this has on our survey. Re-importing the data, we now see that BG50 has two subsets, BG50.1 and BG50.2. And now let's see the effect that the codes had by rotating the shape. We can see that the code V2 H-1.5 followed by V2 offset a footpath around the building but elevated it 2 meters above the original surface. Here is the original survey data file that we imported called Site Layout 1. We're now going to import a second file called Site Layout 1B. We import the second file exactly as we did already. Import survey data, select Next, selecting the file, Site Layout 1B, we click Open, click Next, selecting Network IRL and Next, Next, and now the data is imported into the database. Now we select Survey Points and right-click and Insert into Drawing. We can now see that we have a new figure called BG51, and when we click on it we see it's here on the drawing. Clicking Figures and right-click, we click Insert into Drawing. We can see that the building is open-sided on the last side. That is because in the original text file it did not have a CLS special code.